Jimmy showed up not long after we called him, pulling into the 7-Eleven parking lot like a knight on a rescue mission. The look on his face was priceless, relief mixed with total shock. He practically tackled us with hugs, demanding to know what had happened. We tried to lay it out as best we could, but honestly, even saying it out loud sounded crazy to grown men, drugged, stripped of their own clothes, dumped an hour away from the Jersey Shore with no memory of how they got there. Jimmy listened, wide-eyed, but didn't question us. If anything, he was furious, said he'd drive us straight to the police station himself to make them take us seriously. But after what happened earlier, Ryan and I were done with the cops for the time being. On the ride back to Jimmy's Airbnb, we compared notes. Ryan had the same patchwork of missing hours, the same weird texts from his own phone to people he knew. Nothing added up. Whoever had done this was good enough to make it look like we'd just partied hard and blacked out. Back at the Airbnb, I tried to piece things together. Why would those girls, if they really were Gianna and Marcella, go through the trouble of drugging us, changing our clothes, driving us all the way out of town, and then just leaving us there? And why had they even bothered sending believable, calm texts to our contacts? If they'd meant to rob us, why not use our cards? If they'd wanted to hurt us, why didn't they finish the job? Jimmy wondered if maybe we'd been part of a bigger scheme. Maybe the girls had bosses, and for some reason the plan changed halfway through. Ryan was convinced they'd meant to kidnap us for something even worse, then backed out at the last minute. That possibility alone was enough to make my stomach turn. Over the next few days, we tried to do our own investigating. We went back to the boardwalk, retraced every step, hoping to spot something familiar. Miraculously, after a few hours of walking in circles, we found the house, the one Marcella had claimed was hers. It was still there, a fancy beach property with a private walkway. I worked up the nerve to knock. An older man answered, polite but suspicious. I asked if he had a daughter or granddaughter named Marcella. He looked confused and told me flat out no. I explained, vaguely, that we'd met a girl who said this was her place. He actually laughed a little, shaking his head, said it must have been some random scammer or an opportunistic girl who wanted to impress people. That explanation should have made me feel better, but it didn't. It made everything creepier. Walking away from that house, I felt a hollow pit in my stomach, like there was a piece of the puzzle I'd never get back, no matter how hard I searched for it. Back home, I scrolled through the messages I'd apparently sent that night. They sounded like me, down to my usual slang and tone, but none of them made sense together. The narrative was scrambled on purpose, I think, so no one would look for me. Whoever had my phone was skilled enough to mimic my voice and throw people off. That detail is what kept me up at night. Weeks later, Ryan and I still talked about it constantly. We'd lie awake at night, texting each other, trying to replay the details. One question always circled back. Why, if it was just a robbery, why leave our credit cards untouched? If it was a prank, why risk getting caught drugging strangers? And if it was something more sinister, why abandon it? The theories never stopped spinning in my head. Organ harvesting, human trafficking, maybe even some kind of twisted experiment. It sounds dramatic, but nothing about what happened felt normal or harmless. A month later, I was still rattled. I couldn't go out drinking without worrying every random stranger was going to slip something in my glass. And that night, that black hole in my memory still felt like a wound in my brain that would never close. I never got a single update from the police. Jimmy checked in with them a couple times, but they'd written us off as wasted party-goers. I hated that. I hated how quickly they dismissed us, like our fear and confusion didn't matter. Ryan felt the same. It was like being told, you imagined it, move on, but I can't move on. Because something happened that night, something way bigger than two drunk guys stumbling out of a club. And maybe I'll never figure it out, but I can promise you this, I'll never be that trusting again. If I ever do learn what really happened, you'll be the first to know.